Jeffrey thinks girls don't like him because of his genetics. Do you really think it's because of your genetics, Jeffrey? Or is it because you act like a weirdo? And also, you kind of smell. And also, you don't even go to the gym. And also, you eat weird food. Your sperm probably tastes bad.
What?
Would you even suck your own pee-pee, Jeffrey? I don't think you would you? It's not Jeffrey's genetics that are holding him back. It's his actions. But he has a fixed mindset, and so he isn't making any improvements. 5 years later, Jeffrey is at an even worse period in life. Adonis. Adonis is the most handsome, most charismatic, most attractive man there has ever been. But he was not always like this. Just like Jeffrey, when Adonis was young, he was riddled with insecurities and doubts. But instead of having a fixed mindset, his father raised him to have a growth mindset. That is where he believed he could make progress. And through hard work, determination, and self-improvement, he changed it all. Wow, just look how many women want him. Adonis's wife is a very lucky lady. Back in high school, I was sat with my friend Hayden in my home, and he looked over to me a little bit weird and he says, Hamza, do you want a girlfriend? And I start getting embarrassed, overwhelmed. I have like this emotional reaction that's not really appropriate for the situation. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but you know, like, you can't, like, I'm panicking, I'm freezing, I'm overwhelmed with weird emotions. And the conversation kind of dies out from there. He ends up leaving, but the thought stays in my mind. Do I want a girlfriend? Well, yeah, of course. But I don't feel like, first of all, I'm allowed to have a girlfriend because I come from quite a strict family. But also, too, I just don't think that girls like me because of one big reason. I have brown skin and girls aren't attracted to that. I was adamant. That was just a pure, like, rock solid belief in my mind. Girls aren't attracted to guys who aren't white. The only time I would see anything about brown people, like in the news or the movies or whatever, would always be something bad, like immigration or terrorism. And so I associated being brown with being a bad thing and being white with being a good thing. And so I have this, like, this belief in my mind. They don't want to be with brown guys. Brown guys aren't attractive. Brown guys are ugly. Either way, I'm still a teenager. I'm still having crushes on girls. And there was one girl in particular, we'll call her Sarah, who she was in my class, who I had like this massive crush on. She was a little bit weird like me. You know, like there's the popular attractive people. There's like the academic ones that get good grades. There's the video gamers, whatever. I was never fully in any of these groups, maybe a little bit towards the video games. And I noticed that she was kind of the same, where she didn't really fit in. She had maybe like one friend and they would fight quite a lot. So it felt like we were quite similar, and she was like my one sort of female friend that I'd actually speak to, and you know, I was quite like deep with. I'd let her know things about me, she would tell me deep things about her. And so naturally I ended up developing like this massive crush on her. I think she's sexy. This was back on Facebook days where I was looking at her Facebook pictures when I used to jack off as well. So that's kind of fucked up, isn't it? But yeah, I've got like a big crush on her. I'm texting her, but I just don't have the confidence to like ask her out or tell her. Sometimes I would tell her I had like a crush on a girl. Yeah, she's good, she's hot, whatever. And I'd be speaking about her, but I just never had the confidence to just tell her because I was just so scared of like, what if she rejects me and, you know, we stop speaking or something. And everyone, like my friends, my close friends, they knew that I was into her. And then one day I'm in the town center with two of my very good friends, and I go into like one of the stores by myself to go get a drink or something. And when I come out, both of them are looking like something's happened. And so I'm looking to them like, oh, what? Like, what? You're acting like kind of weird. What's happening? And they're like, oh, nothing, whatever. I can't think of anything that would have happened. These are like my best friends. So, you know, I just kind of move on. Okay, we go get some food, whatever. Eventually, one of the best friends, he comes up to me and he looks a little bit like weird. And this guy was, you know, he was like pretty attractive and he was kind of popular. He was one of those who like hit puberty pretty early. So he started to look like a teenager, like a young man next to me when I still looked like a boy. And, you know, he had his own style. He was like a skateboarder and whatever. So he comes up to me and he says, you know, Sarah? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm going out with her now. And I instantly, straight away, I just act like it's absolutely fine. Oh yeah, sure, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, so how did that happen? He's like, well, yeah, you know, yesterday I got like a new phone contract. So I could like text now. I have like unlimited text. So I sent one to her saying, oh, hey, I got a new phone contract, whatever. We spoke. And then I asked her to be my girlfriend and she said yes. And he knew I had a massive crush on her. It hurt, but at the same time, like I never asked her out, so I couldn't be like so upset. He knew I had a crush on her, but can I blame him for getting her when I never even made a move for like months? Maybe he should have like told me first, whatever, but you know, we were just teenagers, but it hurt, right? And I think it like further added to my belief that like, oh, well, yeah, she went with him because he's white and I'm brown. That was just terrible for my self-esteem, but that was the way that I was viewing the world and dating and relationships. I'd go to school and there wasn't many other like brown kids where I was from. There's like one or two more. But one of them was a pretty awkward guy who'd do like really cringe things. He was in our friendship group, but not like an important like character, if you get what I mean. And he would just kind of act, you know, like weird ways where their body language just weird, and he'd randomly do something and girls would almost like scream a little bit, but he wasn't like a bad guy. But just his mannerisms were like really weird, and he would just do some like cringe shit every now and then, pretending he was in like a superhero movie or something. And so naturally girls would like kind of cringe at him a little bit and run away, and he wasn't attractive. He looked a little bit similar to me, he was just a little bit fatter. Like both of us looked like little brown boys, whereas like most of the white guys our age started to look like young men, like they just ended up hitting puberty earlier than we did. So I'm like fully convinced, okay, girls don't like brown guys. It's not even like a belief in my mind, right? I'm not like black pill thinking about it every day. It was just like such a subconscious belief. Like I wasn't actually fully thinking they don't like me because I'm brown. I just kind of assumed that's what the world was like. Until one day, I'm on Facebook and there's this boy band that's just went viral in my country. The band name was One Direction. And when you have like a boy band, you know, there's like 4 or 5 guys in there and girls all like go crazy for them, and each girl has like their favorite boy inside of the band. It just so happened that loads of girls from my school, their favorite boy in this band, he was actually Pakistani, or at least half Pakistani, and he had like brown skin, like a little bit lighter than me. Multiple girls, I'm talking probably around like 5 girls in one day, posted a picture of him to their own Facebook wall. So if you've not used Facebook, that's the equivalent of you, for example, downloading a picture of like a celebrity and uploading it as like your Instagram photo. Not even your story, but like your photo. Like that's what people used to do as a sign of endearment for like, you know, things that they were really, really into. And I realized it was never about being brown. It was just that I was ugly and I was just kind of awkward. I was just awkward. I didn't have great social skills. I didn't have great confidence. I had this massive fear of rejection, and I was needy, and I was just not doing attractive things. I was just playing video games and gooning all the time. But I used to think that it was because I was brown skin. I was from Pakistan, and you know, now I live in UK, so that's the reason why like the white girls here don't like me. But it wasn't. It wasn't any of this like genetic traits that you can't change. It was actually the behaviors that I was doing. Because this guy here, he was attractive because he was doing attractive behaviors, and he happened to like, you know, like style his hair nice, whatever, and he wasn't like fat or chubby. He had like a lean face, and girls were going absolutely crazy for him. So in that instance, something clicked inside of me to say like, oh no, like all this time you were wrong. You thought it was because you were brown. Other guys think it's because they're short. Other guys think it's because their face looks like this or whatever. We think it's like these specific genetic traits that just we can't change forever that's stopping us, when actually it's usually more the mindset, the fixed mindset that demotivates you from actually working hard and becoming more of an attractive man. That's the real reason that these girls weren't into me. I am filled with more motivation than ever. Like before this, you know, I've had little moments of motivation when I used to watch videos on YouTube about like parkour or beatboxing, getting a 6-pack. But this, at this point, it just unlocked the belief to think, okay, you can become attractive. You can become extremely attractive. You can get any girl that you want as long as you build yourself up and you don't let any of these like unchangeable factors about you hold you back. It just so happened a few days from that point, my brother came into my room when I was playing League of Legends, and he literally closed my laptop screen. And I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, I was in the middle of a game, and he said, come on, I'm taking you to the garage. In the garage was where my brother used to work out. Like he had just started lifting weights like for the last few months. And I always kind of saw it, but you know, like he was my big brother, right? So it's something that he has to kind of do first and then kind of show me once he's figured out the path. And that was the day he felt like he was ready to teach me. So he takes me in there and tries to teach me like the form of the exercises, and like, my body's not moving correctly. Then I have to go to the dining room where we had like the little pink dumbbells, and I'm like practicing on the floor, just doing like floor presses like this. Eventually, after like a little while, okay, I can go to the garage, I can now lift like the little barbell that we've got, dumbbells, whatever. And very quickly, it turns into like a bit of an addiction for me. It turns into like one of the most fun parts of my day. And I still remember there's this one day where, probably around a month after that day, when I saw like the girls sharing like that brown guy's picture saying he's so hot. I'm in the home gym and I'm like listening to nice music. I've got a pump, I'm rocking backwards and forth, I'm hype, I'm almost like dancing in front of the mirror, I'm flexing, I'm feeling attractive, I've got like a new haircut. So quickly, I did like a 180 transformation from someone who was so certain that there was nothing I could do to become more attractive to girls because I was just born this way, to now changing what I could change, and it was like a night and day difference. And then around this time, one of my friends in school, he introduces me to this girl. We go on a date, we go on a second date, we go on a third date. And with this girl, I meet her, you know, we laugh about things, I get her number and we start texting. And I invite her to go to like the cafe nearby with me. And she says, yes, we go. We're there and, you know, I feel a little bit awkward, but I'm still kind of like laughing and joking, and she seems to like me a little bit. We go for another date. And on the third date, we're actually outside the same cafe from our first one. But this time she's brought like her skateboard and we're just kind of like skating around there. And we skate a little bit and I'm thinking like, oh, like I've got to, you know, I'm going to try and do something. I'm going to try and kiss her. For like 2-3 hours straight, we're kissing. I'm trying to get close to her a little bit, whatever. And eventually I'm just like, fuck it, like, just go. I say, come here. And I go for a kiss. And it's my first ever kiss at 17 years old. The lesson of this story is that you can always think about reasons why you're unattractive and you can't change that. Your height, your race, your looks, the shape of your face. But that's only going to hold you back. If you destroy that limiting belief and you say, okay, well, how attractive can I become anyway? If I'm short, how attractive can I become? If I'm brown, how attractive can I become anyway? If I have like, you know, something wrong with my face, how attractive can I become anyway? If you ask yourself that question, you will make so much more progress, and you'll get to the point where you realize actually that thing that you thought was a limiter, maybe it still is, but it's not really even that bad anymore because you're still attracting girls, you're still attracting a partner, and you still feel so confident. For everyone who's watching this, you can be like a Jeffrey or a Jessica for like the 2% of women who watch me. You can be like the people who've got like limiting beliefs. They've got this resentment to the world thinking, yeah, I can't do anything because of this factor that I can't change. And then these people, Jeffrey and Jessica, they end up just doing like the worst bad habits. They just get addicted to porn and video games and junk food, and then they sleep late, and then, you know, the skin looks worse, and then they're just not even exercising because they just think there's no point. Or you can be like Adonis and Anastasia. You can be like the people who have growth mindsets, who see that they're not perfect, who see that they have some limitations, but they think to themselves, let me just reach my potential anyway. And it turns out that your potential, even with any kind of physical limitation, is still very, very, very high. And people like Adonis and Anastasia, when they've made a bit of progress, they never look back to those like Jeffrey days and think, oh man, like, yeah, you know, this was all a waste of time. No one ever thinks that when they get onto self-improvement and like looks maxing. No one ever thinks, oh yeah, this was a waste of time. It's the people who don't even ever really try. They're the ones who say it's a waste of time. But the guy who's built like a jacked physique, and you know, people will say, oh, but he's still short. But you don't see the guy who's short with a jacked physique just give up and stop afterwards, because he'll notice that it's still night and day different from how it is. And that guy, the happy guy who's jacked but he's short, is still way more attractive than the guy who's like taller but he's got a shitty mindset and he's got like weird beliefs and he's just awkward and he's not even speaking to girls because he's got some weird black pill mindset. Really, it is your mindset and the actions that you do which change way more than anything that you're born with. This is the truth. And with work, with self-improvement, with looks maxing, with style, with fitness, you can go from like a 3 out of 10 to like a 7 or an 8. And you will quite literally get like 50 times more attraction if you make as much progress as you can. There's no benefit to continuing with like the Jeffrey, Jessica mindset thinking, oh, well, you know, I've got this physical problem and no one's gonna like me anyway. There's no benefit at all. It doesn't serve you at all. If you follow my advice and you stop being like a Jeffrey or a Jessica and you become more like Adonis and Anastasia, you will have such a better life and you will never look back. I'm interested to hear your story of like limiting beliefs and looks maxing. So comment below your story and I'll try to read it. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. By the way, no pressure, but there's a few links underneath this video that you can check out if you want to have a look at my paid programs. When you trust me enough and you feel like my free content has already changed your life, you can have a look at those.